Uh-huh.
Man, I have not seen you in over a year, Blaine.
You put the date on the dock. You said 2-1. What are you from, Europe?
I
No.
don't know. I just randomly do that every now and then. I don't know why.
Yeah. I mean, it's 1/2. January 1st, not this January.
Now the
No,
2nd of January,
2nd of January.
2022.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
it's
don't know. I do
very.
that every now and then.
I haven't. I don't think I've ever noticed it. I'm sure you've done it before, but like I noticed it on the dock. I was like, "What the heck is this?" Because
Yeah,
it's 1/2/2022 today.
yeah. All right, but now let me see if you do it when I say it. Hey, I haven't seen you in over a year, Blaine.
Yeah, this is a bad joke, Brandon. Because this is literally the up Brandon's alley joke, which is really funny. People
I
don't
always end
know
up doing it at
you.
least once a year for some reason. I don't know why.
People don't know you. Don't really get it. But someone like me, I'm like, this is grade A Brandon
This
material.
is the this is probably the fifth year I've done it, and you're like, and you just give me the look.
I mean, it's in reality. I mean, it depends on the person how funny it is. To me, it's not that funny, but because it's from you, it's more funny because this is class A Brandon right here.
E. But anyway, guys, hope everybody's having a good 2022. I hope everybody had a good 2021. And today we're going to be talking about our 2021.
A
So,
year
Blaine,
in
do you want to go
review.
first? Yeah, our
Yeah.
year in review.
Oh
You want to start
boy.
off, Blaine?
Yeah. Yeah. It was kind of an
Oh, hold on.
interesting
Let's
time. I
let's make
kind of.
this up to make it a little bit easier. How about we break it up, like in quarters?
Mm-hmm.
So, how
Hmm.
was the first 3 months of 2021 for you?
I think it's easier for me to think about it like in whole.
Okay, okay. If it's easy to do it like that, do it like that. I just thought maybe it'll be easier if we did it like that. But if it's easy to do as a whole, go for it.
I mean, that's just kind of how I think it would be. Um, just because, like, I can't, when I think about a year, I just can't think about, okay, what was like the first 3 months, like super specific.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But, like, I have my Google Photos up just to, like, because I can have the months and stuff with it. So it brings back the
It would
memories.
jog back memories.
Yeah. So from the first 3 months of the year, though, am able to track on this a little bit. And so the very beginning of the year, first 2 months, like start of the year, like me and my girlfriend's anniversary, we had a wonderful time. That's not like a super when I think about it in the year, it seems like such a small like thing versus like, oh, I changed jobs for 6 months, but like we were together for 2 years, so that's really exciting. And then like my longest relationship. And then other than that, for the first 3 months, I mean, I wasn't working at this time, and so call that a break, I guess. And the good old COVID break, that's what that is. COVID forced fun, and really enjoyed it though. It was really fun. Glad to have that time to spend, and so I had a wonderful time with my girlfriend. A lot probably during that time period, I feel. And but in reality, when I look back and think about like what happened during that time period, not too much happened. If you remember this, Brandon, we had that freeze because we lived near each other. I mean, all the snow that we got.
That I'm so paranoid now because of that. Because I don't know how it is over there, but over here, this is day 2 of overnight it going below freezing.
Oh yeah, it was 26 degrees today over here. 24,
Yeah. So see,
26.
I am super paranoid because of what happened last year. So I've had like last night I kept on getting up every 30 minutes to check all the faucets, make sure they
You,
were
sh-
all running.
you should have left them on leak, and then you should have been fine.
Huh?
You should have left it where I said on leak drippings, and you would have been good.
No, I did, but I kept on being paranoid, so I kept on getting up every 30 seconds to check.
Uh huh. Well, as long as they're like dripping, you're good.
Yeah.
Just sleep easy. If it's gonna happen, clearly at this point it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
But yeah,
but
I'm
I was
scrolling
just
through
so
my
paranoid
phone.
because I remember last year, and like I'm just so paranoid right now because of that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm just scrolling through my photos. and I saw the snow. I went to this is like exciting stuff to me that's coming up. I went to a really I saw my friend in Kansas. So this is I'm essentially just stretching through the year at this point, and it's about like maybe a highlight of
Was
the
that in
month.
February? I thought that was in May.
It was in March. You're pretty
Oh,
damn close for knowing what month I'm doing stuff. I'm really surprised. February was the snow and everything. That was crazy. March, I went to visit my buddy in Kansas. I ain't seen in a couple of years, and I went to see him, and we had a fun time there. We went to like a museum. Besides the other things that we did, it was a lot of fun. I didn't see him in a while, so that was really cool to go hang out with him and everything. And other than that, no, that's the puppy growing up. That's kind of March there. Nothing else really happened in there. I'm trying to see. That's pretty much it. The turtle I had a pet turtle for a while. He he's still growing out there. Oh my goodness, we had a massive hailstorm one month. Um, oh, you know what we'll do? You know what happened? It started in May. Started looking for my motorcycle, and because there's
was that in May?
well in May I started looking because I saw there's pictures on here from the dealership from May. And Craig went with me. I was hanging out with Craig at some point. I don't know if I didn't get it at that point. You know what month I got it? Let's see. I think this is June.
July, I think.
Oh, and maybe it was March. No, it says May here. Then it jumps to June. So in June I got it, and so I got it in June. I got a motorcycle that it pretty much you might as well say in love with. It's fantastic. I enjoy it so much. It's great. A month after having it, you know this, but I got stuck in the deepest mud, and I was literally stuck in this mud for like two, I think for sure an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe stretching it. Like the whole endeavor of getting stuck in the mud and getting out of it, I was there over an hour to an hour and a half, literally in mud with because the picture behind you, yeah, that's the tires. They're street tires. They're not made for stuff like that. And I didn't know how much it rained because I was out of town, and I went and I got stuck in the mud, man. Oh my god, that was so bad. It sucked. It sucked.
I think I remember seeing a photo of the aftermath of that.
Yeah, I sent a picture. I'm like, well, guys, I sent it a little too hard there. And then there was an after picture of just mud caked all over it. And so that was super cool. At some point, I went to Florida. I don't remember when that was,
Multiple times.
well, multiple times the last year. I don't know. I don't think I went multiple times this year. I think I just went once.
You haven't gotten it all this year. It's day 2 of this year.
Oh, okay, fine. 2021, I went, and and so that was a super fun blast. That was somewhere in the middle of the year. There, caught some of my first. Well, I've caught saltwater fish before, but my first fish off the actual leaving the boundaries of the coast. Really, well, that's not true either. My first fish was just me and my dad,
And sea.
not on a chartered boat, because we've paid people before and been on a chartered boat, but never our own selves using our chartering our own boat, taking our own boat out into the ocean, not in the bay, actually out into the ocean away from the coastline and fishing. We weren't very far from the coastline, no, but that was the first time, that first experience, and that was a lot of fun. That was great. Caught a shark, kind of like a really big fish. It was great getting to go out there. Hand fed a dolphin. I hand fed a dolphin, like literally. I was like, he wants to. I think he's hungry. Like he was swimming up to the boat, and I was like, I'm gonna hand feed this dolphin. This
What did you end up giving it?
this bait fish that we catch, which is about 12 inches long. I have a video of me hand feeding it. Actually, my dad recorded me doing it,
Yeah,
and
I don't think you ever sent it to any of us. Or at least in our group chat.
yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. I have a video of me hand feeding this dolphin, and took tons of videos and pictures of everything while I was out there. But yeah, literally hand fed a dolphin. Oh, I found the video already right here. But it was so cool. I mean, he was so like tame and timid, and I hand fed him. See, that's him eating the fish out of my hand, and he's so gentle. You can see it. He's just like such a gentle creature. I think he was an older dolphin by the look of his mouth. But like if Landon never listens to this or we talk about it, he's going to say that's a grade A, type of thing Blaine would do. For like
Yeah,
hand
true.
feeding an animal randomly or like catching something. Oh, the backlight went off. Like the one time we went to Florida with Landon, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, it was like an alligator gar like in the water," and he was like running away from it, and I was like, "I caught it," and he like turned around, he was looking at me holding it in the air, and he was like, "What the hell, dude?" And he's just like, "That's some type of shit Blaine would do," and so
Honestly, I agree with that.
that's a really fond memory. And but yeah, that's reviewing most of the year there at the first half of it. There's and in April, this is something there's not a photo of it, but in I think it was April 5th or something. I started my job at that place where I was doing inside sales that we've talked about in the past.
Sounds about right. That sounds about right.
Yeah, it was in April, and I started that job there, and I was there for 6 to 7 months, and in there for the duration of time. And so it was a lot of fun over there, a lot of things to be learned, enjoyed being with my team and everybody like that, and a lot of great people that I met there and friends and that I've made. I almost actually met one of the people that's from like Chicago, literally like a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago. Almost met him. He actually came through, and he came to Austin, but I thought I didn't have to go until late on that day,
Mhm.
and I misread the schedule. I realized that when I woke up, like my body knew, but I didn't. I woke up at the time I should have woke up if I was going in earlier. And if he came, he was going to come early the night before, and then we were going to do something, but he came
Mhm.
super late, and so then it was to the morning. I was like, "Don't worry, we can still do something in the morning." So they like slept in their car, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is going to work." But because of the stuff, so sadly enough, he was like a half hour away from me, and we didn't get to meet. But we will at some point. I felt really bad that we didn't get to
Now,
hang out. But he then he
although
went to
next time,
Arizona.
if you go visit, if you go to Chicago, make sure he takes you to the best Chicago New York pizza place.
He's moved now officially. That's
Oh,
why he was coming down here to, I think, New Mexico or Arizona. I think Arizona, and so he's in
yeah.
Arizona now. So at some point, maybe I'll go over there and visit him.
They don't
Like,
have daylight saving times over though. That's the only thing I know about Arizona.
that's interesting because it's just like don't observe it, and I think that's so cool. Like that's not our thing, not doing it. And but yeah, I had that job for a while, and then and then during the duration of that time there, I'm wondering if anything else really happened on there. Major life events, I don't think so, really. Your birthday was in there at some point. I saw the thing where you got that. I got you that shirt. It was cool. That's pretty much it. Me just enjoying life out here. Okay, so now we fast forward a little bit to where this is right before November. So we're pretty much to the end of my major like events here for the year in review. And so I'm looking for other opportunities potentially to move to because we wanted to move to Austin, but I was doing the inside sales and everything, and honestly, it was doing pretty okay. I'd say 6 to 7 out of 10, but I was concerned with going through the end of the year and everything like that. But moving to Austin, how expensive it was going to be and everything, and I was concerned with the fluctuation of the pay. I didn't want to have to feel that I,
Oh, am I gonna
what
have enough for this month?
I wasn't going to be secure or not.
Yeah.
And honestly, I like ran numbers and did my averages and how like it was looking like I would have been fine, but with how expensive it is to live here, it was closer than I desired it to be because I still wanted to save money. And so I was like, that's still kind of rough. So I'm looking at opportunities. I still would have moved anyways if push come to shove, and we really get to that point where we wanted to do that. And so I ultimately saw a job opportunity after talking with my buddy Jordan. And he was the one I visited in Kansas. We had a good conversation after I visited him, and then I left. We were talking in the car on the way home about me, what I wanted to do, what I like future for myself, and things like that. And he's in like my visions and goals. And he said, "Well, why don't you look to get a career back into management because you have management experience. Why don't you use that to your advantage?" and to look for something, and it's going to fetch a high wage, and then you can use that to at least solidify where you are now and have that solid game plan. And I was like, I mean, honestly, it's a pretty good idea because that's going to ensure my short-term goals, and it's also going to allow me to plan for my long-term goals. And so
And it's
ultimately,
a kill.
yeah. And so ultimately, I took that conversation and acted upon it. So I started looking for things. Been looking for stuff, try to apply to different things. Not all just like straight management. There was like office management and stuff like that. That was within a real estate realm too, because I had that a good experience for both of those to like really apply well to. There was even one that I applied to that fit my history perfectly, and I actually didn't get a call back, which really surprised me. But that's not the first time we've been surprised with having amazing experience and not receiving a call. And like we've talked about in the past, me and you just personally.
Yeah.
And so ultimately, I found a job posting for the company I'm at now, and it was the job posting what it was, the attractive title and responsibilities, and then and they actually put the estimated amount on the job posting. I think it was by the author, and I was like,
Oh
wow,
wow. I would actually
it's
when
not
I've been
common.
looking, it's like 50-50 if
Yeah,
people post that, and I'm like,
it's not common.
yeah.
And so I saw that, and I was like, if that's what they're going to offer, I'm willing to do it. And so, and then they called me. I had an interview with them. That was good. First interview went well. Then I went and had a second interview, and then second interview went really well. And then pretty much the third interview was, I mean, I pretty much had it at that point, unless I like really screwed something up. And that was the third interview was like the same day, but it was like a district manager over the web call, and talked with him, and then that was it. And so and then had the salary that I was going to make, and they gave me an offer. Actually, no, that this is before that I got an offer, but we've talked about me and you personally about like negotiating like salary or stuff like that, or like fetching more money. You got to ask for it and things like that,
Yeah.
and how to approach that question about money in the interview process. And one of the things that I use, so this is a real example from something I learned and applied it. How different ways you can answer. Like, well, I'm not sure yet. I need to know more about the position to give it. Well, that's early on in the interview process if they ask you what you expect, and you can kind of avoid the question. Or I've even asked before, like, oh, well, what, like I'm sure you've got a budget for the position. Like, what are you typically offering people within for this position? Sometimes they'll give you the range, and that's really useful. And because you can use that to most of your advantage, because now you know exactly what they're going to offer most likely, and you can maybe play outside of it, but based on where it's at, you can play to the high range. And then the other version is that you're further along in the interview process. You have an idea and you've done research about what they're paying in that field, and then I even had the figure that they put on there. So I set a range, and I gave a range after I saw something else, like an article talking about, let's say, if you know a certain figure, let's say for like a job, and I'm just going to use a random figure here. This doesn't have to do with what I make. It's just like, okay, well, I'm looking for this job. I'd like to make anywhere between, 85 to $90,000 a year. And so you see what that is. There is a range. So the part was, like say let's say they're offering 85 and you want to negotiate more. Well, if you could say, oh, I like 83,000. You could say something like that. Maybe they'll offer you somewhere in the middle, or you can say, I'd like 85 to 90,000. Maybe they put it right there in the middle. Maybe they say 83. Maybe they say 82. They could be generous and say 83, 84. Like,
You keep on saying 85 to 90,000. We keep on going to 83.
yeah, I said I know. I noticed that once earlier, and then I was like, "That's weird." Keep going, but I gave him a range, and I got within that range. So a $5,000 range that I gave him, and between like let's say 80 to 85, even though I keep moving around, and then they were like, "Okay, well, how about 82?" And so let's see here. Because I'm trying to also have to be particular about things I'm saying in terms of a situation, and so I will leave those details out since to be professional. And unless I've already moved past the company, then I would explain these things. But so I got a range, and then I actually was going to ask for a little bit more, but then the rest of this conversation is something I won't talk about yet. If that makes sense, because we, like I mentioned, professionalism. So um, we'll leave that out for maybe of one time in the future. And but yeah, and so I asked. There was what we were going to offer, and I asked for more, and I got it. And so you just got to ask. And
I mean,
yeah,
never hurts to ask, you know.
so that's really cool. And so I asked for more and got more, and which I knew what I was bringing to the table, and I believed I provided the value, and so I asked what I asked for confidently, and I interviewed incredibly well, which is as I typically do, and got compliments and stuff like that post, and so yeah, and so got that job, put my 2 weeks in at the other job, moved within 2 weeks to an apartment down here in Austin. Very fun, exciting experience that we've talked about. And moved in with my girlfriend. She's in here now. I think she's actually now asleep. And and so yeah, I moved to Austin. I left that job, moved to Austin, started my new job the 1st of November as an area sales manager. And so yeah, I've been here ever since. I mean, it's the start of 2022 now, so it's been 2 months essentially in a day since I've been there. And
And
it's
you
been real
kind of joined in
exciting.
the middle of the busy season too, didn't you?
Oh yeah, it's been real busy. I mean, and they told me about that beforehand, but I was grateful. I mean, I've been working a lot, but I'm grateful for the fact that this gives me absolutely no worry whatsoever to be able to be down here, move down here, have an apartment that I feel is very expensive, even though it's considered reasonable for the area, and like have no worry about money whatsoever. Like I don't even have a savings plan or anything like that right now, but I've been saving money because it's my natural state to do
Yeah, yeah.
unless I'm not making enough money to live off my low standard of living as is. I will naturally save money, and so I've been saving money since I got here. Been adding money to my IRA and all that stuff, and so gonna have that maxed out here by because we have till the end of April. And for all you people, when we talked about IRAs, you've got till the tax filing deadline to max out your 6,000 for the IRA, and I neglected it for the whole year pretty much just because where I was at might move soon. Didn't want to take the money out. Don't want to have the money stuck on a spot in case I need it, and so kind of neglected it. But really, you should just slowly add to it, which is what I should have done. And but yeah, we're on that now. We're adding good chunks of money, and because I don't have to worry about that. I mean, I work a whole lot, so I'm obviously making sacrifices, but I'm grateful to be where I am, and I'm happy to be able to make the move that I have been able to make when there's a lot of people who can't even come close to that. And so it's nice. And so that pretty much wraps up where I'm at for the rest of the year there. And that was a good little story. I mean, I think that for me wrapping up my year in about 20 minutes or so, that's not too
Yeah, I
bad.
say.
That's not
Yeah.
too bad.
Well, let's see. So my 2021. So beginning of the year, it wasn't so bad. I got asked by my former boss about basically investing in Pokemon cards, which is, if I think about it, I still can't believe that happened. Like if I go back, like what to when I was like 15 or like 7 when I got my first Pokemon game, be like, kid, you're gonna be asked one day about investing in Pokemon cards. I'll just look at myself with a confused ass look, be like,
You said
what?
15 or 7. That's a very large bracket.
Well, like, anytime I was playing Pokemon, which is basically whenever I got my first game in kindergarten, up until
Uh-huh.
that point. But like any point in my life, if I ever told myself I'll be asked about investing in Pokemon cards, I'll be giving a weird look. Be like saying,
Yeah.
what?
Mm,
Like even when I told my dad about that, and I told him about somehow some cards, depending if they're graded or not, how much they can go for, he just looked at me dumbfounded, be like, I really should have bought you more Pokemon cards when you were a kid.
yeah.
Because I love the game, but I almost never bought any cards really.
Yeah.
I maybe like once every 2 years I would ask for cards. But other than that,
Mm,
I really didn't.
yeah.
I was mostly just either watching the show, playing the game. So that happened. That's probably one of the craziest things I think to date in my entire life. has ever happened to me is being asked about that. So let's see. Honestly, like that's probably one of the main highlights that happened.
Wait,
We
did
had
you
the
drive a
freeze.
McLaren that year, 2021?
No, that was 2020.
Ah, that's noteworthy. Brandon got to drive a McLaren.
Yeah, it was fun. Got
It's
pulled over
awesome.
too.
Oh gosh, yeah, and y'all switch seats.
Yeah, we went
Brandon's
into
Brandon's
we entered
reckless.
a parking apartment park complex through the exit, switch seats, and then we're trying to exit through the entrance, and the cop pulled up,
Mm-hmm.
and we were like, the cop's gonna pull up. That was way too suspicious.
Yeah. Oh well, y'all did it. Y'all
Yeah,
made
that
it.
was fun though. That was fun though.
That's
But
cool,
let's
man.
see. I almost made it to the freeze perfectly fine, except like 2 days before when the water
This
pipe,
is
but when
this
like
was all
the
the
water
snow
pipe
and
busted,
everything.
and it was
Yeah.
just like a tiny, like probably a centimeter in length, that length, and maybe an 5 centimeters in width, like really small. I'm using centimeters to explain
Just
how
think of
small
it
it
like a
was.
slice in the wall, really. That was so funny when we came over.
God, like
Because Brandon, he's like his pipe, but because he was dripped his pipes the entire week or for
and then like
days, right? And then
yeah,
one day you forgot.
yeah, it's like one day I was doing dishes, and then just out of force of habit, I closed it, like completely forgetting about it until the middle of the night.
Uh huh. Yeah. And so he forgot about it and everything. And then did you like wake up in the morning and it was going crazy?
No, no. So what ended up happening was I I realized I left it closed overnight. I tested it to see if it froze over or not. Water was dripping, so I was like, okay, cool. Maybe I got super lucky and all that. So then I started making like lunch or breakfast or whatever. I had my back, was on the pan and all that, on the stove and all that. I turned back to look to grab something, and I just noticed the pipe busted and water was leaking everywhere, and I was like, no, no,
Was it
I was so
leaking?
close.
Was it leaking that aggressively whenever I
Yeah,
came over beforehand?
it was leaking like that way before you came over.
How do you not hear that? Was it not loud?
No, but like, see, like it was just like a small little cut, so I didn't hear it. I just like noticed like some like my feet were wet and all that. I'm like, why my feet wet? Is like it's. Then I turn around and I see like it's spewing everywhere, and I'm like, oh god, no, no, no! Turn off the stove, and then I like went there, tried to move the pipe to the close position, wouldn't budge. I'm like, Dad, what? I come in there, I was like, Dad, how do I turn off the water at the house? What's the thing at? And then after some bad explanation on his part, I found it, turned off the water, called you before that. You came
Oh
over, you
yeah.
tried to help me.
Brandon
It
was
was a no
like,
go.
Blaine. I'm like, what's up, Brandon? Like, it's an emergency. I need you to come over right now. I was like, oh my god, I'm on my way.
Yeah, because
And
like,
you're like, a pipe busted, and the panic in Brandon's voice. I've never heard
see, I was
Brandon
trying
just
to stop it
panic.
all from happening because I was like, crap, crap, crap. And I
Brandon was
was
just
like,
like, the pipe busted. I need you to come over right now. And I was like, oh my god, I'm coming. And then I hung up. And then I was like, Dad, come with me. Brandon's got a leak. He said there's water everywhere. And so since my dad was home, he came with me just because I wanted to make sure we could take care of it as quickly as possible.
yeah.
And and we go up to the door of the house. We knock on the door, and Brandon opens the door, and he's just freaking soaking wet. He is dripping with water. He is just soaked.
I
And
was also right before you guys were outside. I was running around my yard crazy, trying to find the I don't know what you call it, but the thing on the
it's like
ground.
the like a master valve or something.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah,
a
like
shut
that.
off valve to the street. So it's the main water line. So it's a shut off valve on the main water line that supplies the entire house. So if you shut that off, the house water goes off.
Yes, I was trying to find it because I didn't know what it was at, and my dad did a bad example of a bad description of trying to tell me what it was. Because
Uh,
the way he made it sound like it was on the right side of the house. No, it
yeah,
was on the left side of the house.
yeah. And it was. Was it in the middle of the yard or is it next to the driveway?
Basically next to the driveway.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. That sounds about right.
I
'Cause I
was
could
running
remember.
crazy. Oh my god, that
Your
was a
neighbors
bad
are probably
time.
like, "What the fuck is going on out here?"
No, I don't
And
think they were home.
I forget what time of day it was. It wasn't like particularly early or anything.
Cause
Like,
like, cause I went to their house, the next door. Cause my dad said, "Hey, he should know where it's at. He will tell you where it's at." Cause I couldn't find it.
uh huh,
So I went there, rang the doorbell. Nobody answered, so they weren't home. I'm assuming.
yeah,
So I was like, crap,
yeah.
gotta find this.
Brandon was soaking wet when we opened the door. My,
God,
me
like
and my
that
dad. I
was
think it was my dad was like, "You got a leak, huh?" And you're like, "Yeah."
yeah.
Just covered in
Like
water.
so, I didn't have water for the rest of the thing, and even 2 days after that, because I couldn't get somebody to come out until like 2 days after the freeze.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because they got business out the wazoo because everyone
Yeah.
just like you. And so yeah, you finally got somebody out. You know, we're like, Brandon, come over if you need to. Like, oh, I'm good, I'll be fine. And Brandon stuck it out.
Yeah. Thankfully, like because of that, I didn't have to leave the house because at the time they just said, "Hey, since none of us can drive, and some of us have to drive like 40 minutes to an hour to get to the office, just stay home."
That's good. I mean, even if you explained to your boss, he would have said it was fine, anyways. I'm sure.
Yeah.
And but yeah, that was fun. You finally got a guy came out there and he fixed it up. He
Yeah.
just replaced the piece of the pipe, didn't he?
Yeah.
Did he
And I
weld
was
that other
so,
piece on?
huh?
Didn't he take the elbow off and like didn't he like weld it on?
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought he welded it on. I think I remember
he
looking
did.
at it. I didn't know how he
Well,
was gonna fix it, but that makes sense. I mean, what else are you gonna do?
yeah, he just removed that little piece, put another piece in, welded it on, and then boom.
How do
I
you
was like
weld around
so,
a circle like that? You know, like how do you go around a corner?
yeah, I was just so mad because of how small how small the whole the bust and the pipe was, and how
Oh, it
much
was
trouble that
tiny.
caused me.
Oh, it was
Yes,
tiny, and it just created a complete firestorm of problems.
yes, like I'm grateful like it wasn't like bigger, but let's see. So that happened. Summer was prevalent. Let's see. Oh yeah, no wait, I also forgot one thing. In the beginning of last year, I started my second podcast,
Yeah.
and this Saturday actually, or this upcoming Saturday, is going to be the 2 year anniversary of that one. I mean, the 1 year anniversary of that
I
one.
was like 2 years. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
Okay.
I messed up. Yeah, it's gonna be the 1 year anniversary soon. I've had a bunch of support from that one, from the Pokemon Go community in town, and from the following we've gotten online and all that. And we've actually used this to make some connections too. Like, we're good buddies with one of the owners of a card shop up in Arlington. Like, we
Uh,
go to his card shop once a month now, and they
yeah.
open in the middle of the year. We're good buddies with him. Every single time we go, if he's there, he gives us like a little bonus and all that.
That's cool, man.
And like we follow, like his store follows us. We follow the store. We always advertise the store whenever we go there. And we mention it after we go there. Be like, hey, you guys, go to this store in Arlington, amazing place, blah blah blah.
That's cool,
Because
man.
it's just like such a cool atmosphere, good people, good community they're building.
That's dope. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, so so I launched another podcast. Um, the pipe busted. Rest of the summer was kind of uneventful, really. There's like some minor stuff happening. Honestly, really can't remember anything.
Yeah, that's why I pulled up my photos because I
Yeah.
like to take photos of things, and
Uh,
that helped me kind of reminisce a little bit.
the So let's see. Then we kind of get into the like beginning of fall. We had a friend Juan come up from Mexico to come up to the states to visit us for a little bit.
And that's a
Uh, I
highlight.
I
That's
remember he mentioned it to our group chat before, and I was like, hey man, if you ever need to spend a couple of he was like, hey man, you can spend a couple of weeks, like a week or two here, because originally the plan was he was gonna spend uh, uh, stay over at our friend Jonas's house, but right around the time he was coming up, his kid was born, so he ended up just
yeah,
staying over at my house.
that's cool, man. I'm glad that's the way it happened.
Yeah,
I
so
was
he stayed
glad he
over
was
here a
able to
couple of
come
months. So,
over. That was
yeah,
really cool having him here.
yeah, we had a bunch of fun and all that. We were gonna so that happened kind of like in August, I think, if I remember correctly. Then September happened. I
He
got
left in
COVID.
November though,
Huh?
so he left in November, so it would have been September.
August, August, September.
Because he wasn't he there for like a month, like a month.
No, no, it was probably the end. No, it was probably the end of August. I think he came by because I think he was here for 2 months
Oh,
at
two
my
months.
place.
Yeah, he left in November or something, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 months. Yeah, it was too bad. I wanted to see him before he left again, but I saw him a bunch beforehand though.
Yeah.
So
So let's see. Then September rolled around. I got COVID.
oh, right. That's
That
not like.
sucked.
Yeah, Brandon
And
was
I,
like dying.
oh
Yeah.
god, like literally, that's
Oh
probably the
goodness.
top. That easily makes the top 3 of the worst times I've been sick.
Were you vaccinated before you got COVID?
No,
Okay. Are you
and
vaccinated now?
I got 1 shot.
Oh, okay.
But so see here the thing was like what gonna jump forward a little bit. I just got told this a couple of hours ago. So I was over at a friend's for New Year's. Uh, I just got told that he is sick with COVID, and I'm like, no, 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 and like
Nah, dude, you just had it. You have
I'm like,
resistance, and
I'm
then
like,
you got a shot too.
I'm like, please, I'm like, I know I'm saying this, but I'm just like, I'm like thinking my luck, please, for the love of everything that's holy, do not let me get round 2 because round 1 sucked, and I automatically will list that in the top 3 of the worst times I've ever been sick.
Wow,
And the other 2 times are 2 different food poisonings I've had.
that's rough. I don't know if I've ever had food poisoning. Like, because
Don't,
if you do, you're supposed to remember it because it's really bad. So I don't
don't.
think
I
I've
just
ever
recommend
had it.
don't.
Well, you don't really have a choice. You're like, I'm gonna get food poisoning when I go out tonight. Like,
Yeah, those 2 were pretty bad. And then, like, COVID. Like, at one point, I did say this before on the thing. I thought I was thinking, it's like, maybe I should go to the hospital because of how crappy I felt. And I remember I didn't eat for like a day and a half one day.
yeah,
And that's something I try not to do because I know that's not healthy.
yeah, that's crazy, man.
So let's see. That happened. So that happened. Ended up getting better. Um, USA won all 3 games against Mexico this year. That was pretty cool. I almost went to a USA game this year too. Thankfully, I didn't buy the tickets because I was trying to take my dad to go see it, but tickets were a little more. I wanted to get us good seats, and the good seats were a little more expensive than what I thought they were going to be. So I didn't have enough money.
Mm.
So, but then I ended up telling my dad, and he was like, "Oh, I couldn't leave. I couldn't leave even if you bought them, Brandon." And he's like, "I have nobody to be in the kitchen with. Nobody to be in the kitchen."
Dang, that would
And
have been
that's still
rough.
his situation. He really doesn't have anybody he can trust to be in the kitchen for him to leave like for a couple of days.
Mm-hmm. When
So
were
that's
the
whenever
tickets
he,
gonna be for?
huh?
When was the game supposed to be
It
hosted?
was either the 11th or 12th of November because it was around his birthday, and I was buying them for his birthday. But that's a
Hmm.
good thing for him. I didn't buy it because he would have just gone to watch Mexico lose. I
So
would have
11th or
laughed.
12th was a Thursday and a Friday. Okay.
I would have
Wow.
laughed because Mexico because USA won, and
Hmm.
I'm for Team USA. He's for Team Mexico.
Yeah. I probably
So
could
that
have made a way
happened.
to make that work. Like, oh, well, I had tickets already. Like, because if you bought them and he couldn't go, you would have been like, Blaine, we have to go to this game. I would presume, and I'll be like, I'll have to make it happen.
I've been like, okay, who's a soccer fan who that wants tickets? But like anyway, that happened. A couple of weeks later, after that, I lost my job, and
Oh
then
gosh. Well, they gave you the scare like a year before that, didn't they?
yeah,
Like
it was the beginning
May,
of the year.
but then you made it for a lot longer, and then
Yeah.
they just surprised you.
Okay. See what I was kind of having an odd feeling for about a week, and like
What gave you that odd feeling?
that basically they were testing out some. They were basically testing out some um different outsourced editors, in which I mean like it's not exactly which I'm like, first glance, it wasn't exactly something to be worried about because we use them for like some projects if they want to be like what they call high end editing, which is basically manually blending all three packets of the photos together, which is a very time consuming thing. Which is why whenever somebody orders that, we outsource it because it takes a long time to do a per photo.
Wow. Okay.
Because that's like a very detailed, heavy process that takes you a while to do. From
Mm-hmm.
because you have to blend all three of the photos manually instead of just using a program to blend them manually and all that.
Wow.
So I was thinking, so like, but the way that we were testing them out, like, kind of just gave me this odd feeling. And then
Okay. What
the
was
thing
odd about it
happened.
though? It was weird because they were doing it more than normal.
Yeah, because they were sending almost all the projects to like 2 or 3 different testing groups. Because they were
Okay.
testing multiple out to see which one would be the most cost efficient and have the best results too.
I gotta give it to you. That's Eli, right?
No, he
Or is it
left
the other one?
well,
Oh, he
he
left.
stepped down from CEO and was running his other company. He had somebody else running the real estate photography company.
Oh wow. Well, he's a smart guy. Yeah. Hood County alert. I wonder what's going on over there in Granbury, real quick.
Uh, Tell me, because I don't know.
I'll tell you.
This is an emergency message.
It's on
All
speaker.
phone lines are down at this time. This includes 911 and administrative lines.
Damn.
Contact this number if you have an emergency 682-279-4390. Press 1 to confirm receipt. Press 2 to replay this message. Thank you. Your
Wow.
response has been received.
I would call my parents to tell them, but guess what? All phone lines are down.
I mean, I still have service.
But Brandon, that's a cell phone. It's different than a phone line. You're like on towers.
I mean, you can
and
still
stuff.
call your parents on the cell phone.
Yeah, I can. You're right, but that's not necessary. I mean, they got a cell phone; it'll be fine. But crazy. That's all. Landlines are down in 911.
Wow. Yeah.
But
But
try
yeah. So
calling
anyway,
me. Try to call my phone. I'm just curious now. I mean, it's kind of a sidetrack thing, so I guess it's up to you. But I mean, if 911's down too, but 911's a local-based service, so it said all lines are down, which is it's working. So it's not cell phones, it's landlines, and a 911 is a landline. So yeah, wow, that's interesting. I have that set up. I don't know how I got there, Brandon, but I have it set up to where any kind of emergency alerts or anything like that, they send out an automatic phone call, and I get it. And so weather or like something like that, emergency like things, I get notified, which is really cool. Oh, you know what I just realized? I don't know how my voice is going to sound for this entire episode, but my mic has been a lot farther away than normal.
You sounded good, but anyway, like I could probably just isolate the parts where you're talking and trying to boost your audio too.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I'm just gonna have to listen to it as is. We're gonna roll with it now, but
Yeah.
I didn't mean for it to be as far as it is. I like it closer because it makes it look nice and crunchy
Yeah,
and clear.
gotcha.
But okay, too late now.
So anyway, lost my job, and I'm not gonna lie, December was a little rough on me mentally because of that at times. But I started door dashing in the summer, so I still had like a little bit of income coming into me every month, every week.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, like a couple of like some days I was a little down because I lost my job and that was probably one of my favorite jobs I've ever had. But I'm like, what can I do in the end? What's done is done. Just gotta look forward.
Yeah.
And it didn't help when I got a couple of rejection letters from some jobs, even though I knew I wasn't gonna get the job in first place. I just did it for the laws. Because I was like, oh, hey, wouldn't it be cool to work for Funko? Wouldn't it be cool to work for Pokemon? Wouldn't it be cool to work for a bunch of other companies I actually never hold back from?
Mm-hmm.
But, in the end, I feel like I have something that's going to line up soon. I just need to actually apply. But last time I checked, the application was still up, and that's for like a videographer and photographer for like a
Oh,
for like
I just
a
had an epiphany. I'm sorry.
for like a videographer, photographer at a dealership in Crescent.
I got something for you though, Brandon. I just remember this. We've talked about Andre Jick before.
Yeah, we have.
A new video, I think it was a new one I watched. He wants to hire somebody. But I think he wanted them local though, or is
I
willing to
have.
move to
Uh,
where he lives.
where does he live?
I think it's in California, but I'm not positive.
Hmm.
His most recent video, he's looking for someone who's passionate about doing like the video editing and things like that. And so pretty much he said people just like would upload like a YouTube submission and like send it to him. And
Yeah, but see,
so yeah,
the thing I've struggled with is I don't have a portfolio for videos, or like really that much of a. I've started building my editing portfolio, but I don't have a videographer portfolio.
yeah.
Also, I finally ended up building the studio for the Pokemon podcast.
Yeah, I see a little bit, but not a lot of it. So there's more stuff on the shelves?
Yeah, like all the shows are full and all that. Just gotta move like one or thing too. But we also tested footage, some video last week, and hopefully our first video version of our podcast should be up this upcoming Friday or Saturday.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's dope.
So that's something that's happened. I'm not too worried about finding a job because I feel like I'm gonna find a job soon. About to probably start booking it on Monday. But,
You're gonna start booking it?
well, putting in more applications and and
Getting a
for
little bit
stuff
more
that's actually
serious?
more feasible for me to get and all that.
Yeah. So you're still doing all right though, because like DoorDash and stuff like that, keeping you
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
still
good.
doing good. Like I ended up making a little over 200 this week, but just by I think doing 3 days. Like when I
Okay.
saw DoorDashing today, I automatically had a $17 order pop up for me, and it was just to go to Wingstop and Firehouse, then deliver to two different houses, both within a 5 minute range of each other.
Do they have drinks?
No.
I feel like people would more often than not order a drink because they're home. They have a drink already, unless it's part of like a deal. It's just
See,
at some point I see myself potentially maybe just because I like to ride my bike, but trying the DoorDash just here and there with it. But like I work so much now, it's just like I want the entirety of my day off.
Yeah, I got you.
But like if I live by myself though, I might even be doing it now.
Let's
Just
see.
because like I got nothing else to do.
See, that's the whole reason I started DoorDashing because I came home, I just ate and played like about 5 to 7 hours of video games or TV until I went to sleep. And I'm like, why not take a couple of hours out of that and DoorDash?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a little bit of
Yeah.
extra money, That's like basically how I got everything. Well, like not everything. That's basically how I did my Christmas shopping this year. But then again,
That's
I
so
also did my
cool.
Christmas shopping like a month before Christmas, though.
Oh my, I was so late on my Christmas stuff. I mean, but I also literally worked like 12 days straight before Christmas. I
Yeah.
worked, between like Thanksgiving week till Christmas. I had one day off a week, except one of those weeks I worked like 12 days straight. But
Yeah, you
it's
were
still
telling me
one day off a week.
you were gonna do that.
Yeah, so like, I mean, realistically, I had 4 days to shop for Christmas that I didn't work, and
See, the only
so
reason I shopped only was because I heard that some stuff may be limited supply this year and all that, and I was like, you know what? Let me just not take the chance and get like I think 75% of my shopping done in in November, which I ended up doing. I already had my dad's gift, already at the house. I just went really good to go shopping for my family, and I got almost all their gifts
hmm
taken care of before Thanksgiving. And then just a couple of more, which I was like, okay, let me see. This week on DoorDash is gonna be for the rest of the presents. Done. Boom. Went to the store, got them,
that's
and I
cool.
was like, all right, I'm done. And I was like, okay, got a little bit of extra money left. Let me go pick up my comics. Boom, done.
That's cool. It's so weird. One weird thing for me, which I just had low expenses for a very long time. So a lot of people in the way they live. Like, for instance, for you, it is just like, oh, I don't have enough money for that. Like, you've heard me say that before in certain scenarios, but I don't say that very often. More often than not, it's a choice. Like, oh, I don't want to spend that much, versus when I actually have said, I just don't have the money for that, which I've said very rarely, but I have said it. And but like, and you've said that, you've mentioned that every now and again here and there, like, I just really don't have the money for that. I shouldn't do it. I got to save up for these bills and stuff like that. Like, for me, just like looking back, I've I've never really had to use that terminology, that saying, that mindset, because for the most part, I was always good.
Yeah.
I had very little bills to begin with, but I pretty much almost always was good and never had to worry about that. And I guess it's just by virtue of me being a saver. I pretty much at any point ever want anything, I could get it. And but it's just like, I just randomly thought about that. Like, even now, like, I've been eating out a little bit and spending a little bit more money than I really want to. Well, I say want to, I clearly want to because I've done it. But then I should, like eating out, things like that. But I'm paying for the convenience as well. Then I have to cook after a huge long day of work, which I could prepare for, but obviously haven't. But even then, like, I feel like I'm spending a lot of money and I'm still saving a lot of money. But it's just something I just thought about. I'm just grateful for that.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I think that's, unless you can think of anything, that's honestly, I think, the end of like kind of like of our years looking back and all that.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. It's been interesting to just think about it and everything. It
Yeah.
came and went so
Honestly, like
fast.
I was talking to a friend about this the other day. I honestly can't tell if last year was a good year for me or not. Because yeah, I've had a bunch of good stuff, but also have kind of like a bunch of bad stuff happen to me too.
It
So
was a
I'm
good
like,
year.
is 2021 a good year for me? It had its ups, but it has its down. But should I really let the end of the year make it a bad year? And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, it
It's
was
good.
good for the most part, but the last month and a half wasn't the best. It
Hmm.
wasn't the worst, but it wasn't the best.
It's good for you. You don't think it's good for
Yeah.
you. Like, even then, before I got my last job, there was a period of time after COVID, I became unemployed, and there was times I just felt like I was lost, kind of, or like I just
Yeah.
didn't know where I was going. Like, when am I going to get this next job? And it just feels like it's so, like, kind of lets you get down if you really let it go, get to you, and it's easy to do. It's easy to let it get to you. Eventually, after time and time again, and you're applying to jobs, it's not working out, and you're just like, man, what is this? But I constantly, like, me and like Victoria and stuff like that, just talking about it, and at one point, she was looking for the job too, and that she has now, and I was like, one day we're gonna look back at this, and we're just gonna laugh about how we thought, oh, it feels like the end. We're never gonna find anything. It's never gonna work. And at one point, we're gonna look back at this because it came to an end, because we found something and everything worked out. And we'll just look back and laugh about how we thought the
Like if
future
anything,
was edited.
yeah, like if anything, I'll give this CEO a 6 out of 10 for me, maybe 7.
Yeah,
Maybe wouldn't recommend doing it again.
yeah.
But
I
anyway, I
mean,
think that's it for
yeah.
today, you guys. Let us know how y'all's 2021 was. Was it amazing? Kind of sucky? In between? And then the next episode, we'll talk about what our goals and what we want to happen in 2022.
Yeah. Let's go.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Oh wait, Blaine. Links and all that.
No. Yeah. Okay. It felt quick. Well, if you guys want to check us out on Instagram, give us a follow at For the Long Haul Podcast. We got to get close in for this. Oh, I muted myself. Crap.
Yeah, you
We're
did.
back up. Here we go. Just kind of bring it on in. Oh, this is a good camera view. So follow us on Instagram For the Long Haul Podcast. And then if you want to send us an email, if that's your preferred method of communication, or if you just like to email us about sponsorship information or anything like that, shoot us an email at ftlhpodcast@gmail.com. Like For the Long Haul,
Or you guys
FTLH
can just look at the
Podcast.
screen below if you guys are watching the video of this.
Ooh. If this is the video, this is going to be the first one. And if it is,
Yeah.
just pulling the robe out strong. When you work this much, you don't care anymore. But ftlhpodcast@gmail.com, /podcast@gmail.com. I got my figurine that Brandon got me. Huge fan of Deadpool over there. I showed it earlier just to show Brandon. It's on my desk. And we'll see you guys in the next go round.
Yep. And also, if you guys messed up the email,
FTLH podcast. Brandon has having so much fun with
all right,
having
bye,
the
you guys.
ability to do this.
Yep.
Bye.